Hyperkin, these guys, man, they've done some interesting stuff in the past. I don't talk about them much because it seems like most of the interesting stuff they did, in my opinion, was in the past. They say they're a retro gaming company, but I haven't really seen them do too much in the retro gaming space lately. They always talk about things, announce things like the Nintendo 64 clone console, a Game Boy clone that they were doing, uh, TurboGrafx clone console. None of this stuff came to fruition. So they kind of dropped off, in my opinion, you know? But we got some news. And when news comes up with certain companies, I always, not always, but sometimes I wind up going down some weird rabbit hole. And I don't want to spend too much time on this as far as this rabbit hole goes, because I think I touched on this a few years back in 2022. But Andrew Steele here works for Tasai Denki, right? And then it's like part of the Dashin Group Electronics. And then we're talking about Hyperkin. Like these guys are all connected somehow. I don't know. Like Andrew Steele, Dashin, Hyperkin, that's his experience. And then back in 2022, Tasai Denki, they're the ones who unveiled the Retron GX at Tokyo Game Show in 2022, right? They're the ones who unveiled it. And then they're also the ones who were doing this cool thing that I still haven't heard much of in months now. I think this was unveiled back in September, of last year. The Time Crisis game, the GAIME, the AI powered plug and play. I haven't seen anything on this yet. Not lately, anyway. I got to dig into it because this I was actually really intrigued, especially with the price, $120 with the pedal and the gun. Play Time Crisis, hells yeah! And there's supposed to be like maybe there's going to be more games for it. So like I think all these companies like in China, the Dashin Group, like they work with tons of companies. Dude, I think they're like all these companies in China. They're just all connected, man. Like it's just some big umbrella corporation of game companies just making stuff, and I don't know. It is what it is. But that Retron GX, this thing, the TurboGrafx clone console from Hyperkin, I saw this the other day from Video Game Plus in Canada, because I buy stuff from these guys all the time. They ship to the U.S. They have free shipping. They always have cool stuff that you can't get anywhere else. And a lot of times they have pre-orders for things, and they're way more reliable than plenty of other companies out there. So, I mean, I'm not affiliated with these guys at all, so don't take it that way. I'm not hyping them up for any other reason. It's just I frequent their website often looking for things, and I've purchased plenty of things from them. But like I saw this on there a couple days ago for pre-order, and I was like, wait, what? Did they just like willy-nilly throw this up? But no, I started seeing more announcements that yes, this thing is coming out. The Retron GX HD game console, TurboGrafx-16 PC engine. There's a lot more details with this now. We know how it's going to work. Hyperkin, they are not a company that does anything as far as like FPGA gaming. They don't really do their own software. They've been not, I don't even want to say accused because it's proven that they've taken, software emulators in the past that were not meant for commercial purposes without any kind of license, no agreements. They've just sold it. Other companies have done the same thing. So I'm not just harping on, Hyperkin only. Other companies have done this too, where they've taken other people's software to sell a product. We don't know. I can't accuse them of that on this, but it's 100% going to be software emulation. Whatever emulation they're using with this, did they do it themselves? Maybe. Did they take somebody's emulator or work with somebody for the software emulation? Possibly. Are they just taking an emulator and just throwing it on there, using RetroArch or something? I don't know. Without permission, who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. It's just all speculation at this point. And I've seen people kind of talking about this, mentioning this, that a lot of people don't like Hyperkin with their retro consoles because of their past with, just taking emulators and selling them when they're not supposed to. So If this isn't for you, I get it. It's, in all honesty, I don't think this is going to be a very popular product. It does seem neat though, but TurboGrafx in the US, a cool system, but the library was less than 100 games. In Japan, there's a buttload of games. There's a lot of awesome games, but in the US, it didn't sell very well. There wasn't very many games, so this is going to be a niche thing, just like the actual system. This is not going to be able to use, EverDrives, flash cards, things like that. Now, if you have like bootleg games, there are people who make like repros of Hue cards, TurboGrafx games. I'm sure they'll work on this because they work on original hardware as well. It should work on this. This is just going to rip the ROM off of the Hue card and stuff it into that emulator. It should work, but EverDrives, no, it's not going to work. Flash cards are not going to work. But taking a quick look at this thing, dual compatibility plays classics from both US and Japan. Retron GX is compatible with Hue cards and turbo chips. Modern user interface has easy to navigate UI that brings TurboGrafx into modern world. Access all the console's features simply by pressing start and select. Okay. New gameplay features. Gameplay options designed to help players beat most challenging games. Tricky terrain. Redo mistakes and rewind up to 12 frames. What? Just 12 frames? Okay. Better be quick on it, man. You better decide that you're going to rewind like right then and there. That's not a big rewind feature, but I mean, that can come in handy to quickly, like, oh crap, I need to rewind, like be on top of it. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. Hard bosses, quickly save and load. So you got save states, basic stuff. Store up to 4 saves per game. So that's cool. Controller versatility, 2 9-pin ports and 2 USB ports. So that's the nice thing here with this is like TurboGrafx PC Engine, you had 1 port. That was it. 1 controller. You had to buy a freaking adapter to use multiple controllers. This, you got 2 ports for original controllers, TurboGrafx controllers, and then 2 USB ports. So that's nice. You can use the Specialist, comes with the Specialist controller, their pixel art USB controllers, and other modern controllers. Because there's software emulation. A lot of stuff should work with this. Immersive filters, so you can have CRT filters, scan lines, plain black and white, smooth out the graphics. Whatever you do in the privacy of your own home. This is a judgment-free zone here, okay? I mean, I'll judge you up here if you're playing smoothed out, but I'm not going to say nothing. Well, I just did, so. But whatever. Change between 4.3 and 16.9. Stretched out. But okay, software emulation. So there you go. This thing is coming out, HDMI, you got a little switch. It's going to be just like all their other systems. This isn't Canadian. Let's switch it to US dollars, 90.89, so it's 89.99. Coming out May 25th, I think it said on here. Or no, it doesn't say on here. It says on the other site. But you could pre-order from these guys. Shipping's free, but they do have it up. You could say like, oh, well, that's just some random listing on VGP. But no, Hyperkin has it listed as well. Ship date May 25th. So, yeah, they have all the same information here. I just want to point it out. Like, I've covered a lot of their little consoles, and some of their stuff I think has been pretty popular. The Retron 5, the little Game Boy Cube thing, the Atari system. They've all been neat little systems. This one I think is going to be neat as well. I just don't think it's going to be as popular as their other systems just because of the adoption rate of the TurboGrafx. In Japan, maybe because there's a lot of more PC Engine stuff. Maybe US collectors who've bought PC Engine games, but it's not going to be as popular as the NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Atari. It's just the way it is. But there you go. Just heads up, Retron GX coming out in May, a few months away. Bye.